Hi, so my name's Pat. I'm one of the co-founders of Xcubicle and also one of the developers. We're a small little technology shop dealing with hardware and software. This is actually a redo of the presentation I gave at the Meetup a couple of weeks ago. So I'm just recording it again for some of the people that wanted that actually missed the presentation. For those that are new to this channel, so I run a cryptocurrency meetup here on Wall Street, New York City. So if you're finding this on YouTube, you could come join us. Usually do this once a month. Last month in March, we did a session on following crypto smart money, and which is what we're presenting today. So let's get started. So this topic is actually based off of the Bankless newsletter, which they did a pretty good article about following smart money and what they've been doing the past couple of months or the past year, seeing what they're actually purchasing. And we'll go a little deeper into it. But first, let's get some brief introductions to what is smart money. So in TradFi or traditional finance, you have your typical smart money, which is VC firms, big corporations like Intel, Johnson Johnson, Samsung. They have their own venture arms where they invest in startups and up-and-coming companies. So that's what we call smart money, okay? And in crypto smart money, you also have the similar, which is crypto VC firms, smart money, which is your typical Coinbase Ventures, Andreessen Horowitz, and a whole bunch of other ones. You could easily copy these crypto VC companies and what they purchase, which a lot of people do. So, I mean, but also some, you might make money, you might not. Depending on when they release the news and how sensitive it might be, depending. But one interesting tool that I found a couple of weeks ago was Nansen.ai, which they have this TOKEMAK, which you can actually see all the addresses of whale accounts, potentially VC accounts, and see what they purchase before they even make it announced public. And that's a pretty interesting tool to use. Honestly, I never used it, but I just saw it and thought it was actually pretty legit tool. But even if you follow these VC companies, it's not necessarily that win, right? So, I mean, you're looking back at the 2017 ICO craze, a lot of these coins, they don't even, I mean, they still exist, but they're not talked about anymore. And these are some of the coins that or projects that a lot of VC firms invested in. And you have to also consider that VC firms, they don't win all the time. They get their picks. All right. But I mean, if you have an insight right before they announce, that would be an ideal trade to do that. Now we have the rise of the DAOFi, which is what you might call the decentralized autonomous organizations, where it's emerging as these DAOs are becoming users and investors in itself. And you could think of the DAOs as just a internet community with a shared bank account. Like they have like tens and hundreds of millions of dollars to invest into specific projects that benefits the DAO or corporation. You could think of it as like a beehive, and you as a worker bee, as a shareholder in that hive, working to the benefit of the community. I mean, DAOs aren't like a new thing. I mean, they've been around for quite a while. Even like the first DAO with the Ethereum. But I mean, over time, it has definitely evolved in the past couple of years, past literally like 2-3 years only, it has evolved. I mean, back then, you mainly used these DAO tokens for governance. It didn't really have too much of a utility until kind of recently. And the narrative is switching to where DAOs are becoming smart money versus VC firms. I mean, VC firms are still smart money. DAOs are becoming, I don't know if it's going to be a replacement, but I mean, all of this really started in 2021 last year. So it's relatively still very new. And in early 2021, Yearn Finance, Stake DAO, Convex Finance, they all raced to accumulate locked CRV tokens, which is technically another DAO in itself. So when this happened early last year, 2021, that's when a flywheel effect started happening. Not many people noticed. Even I didn't really pay too much attention at that time because it was just too new. It was all new territory. Everything was still experimental. It's when DAOs started buying other DAOs. That was a kind of like a moment to really stop and notice what was really going on. I mean, right here we have the accumulation of CVX, the convex token, which is related to the curve token. And the accumulation really started in June of 2021. And in the past, literally 5-6 months, it has really picked up. And other DAOs are accumulating massive, mainly for liquidity purposes of their token. One thing most articles people don't talk about is the curve cost basis of how much they purchase these curve tokens for. All right, and the moves that these DAOs took, they took it in broad daylight, available for anyone to see in real time on governance forums, Twitter, and of course on chain. And anyone could have easily just saw this and see what was going on. I mean, these DAOs that were accumulating CRV and CVX, they got in really low. I mean, for someone to get in really low at these prices, they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were purchasing. So whoever or group of people that was in charge of these DAOs, they knew, they foresaw what a curve is doing and how it's playing a role in the future of DeFi. I mean, just looking at it, curve cost base was 42 cents. Nowadays it's around 2 something. That's about 3x return. Convex, they got in at $3. Today's price, 16. Well, in April, it's like almost $30. So it's like almost 5-6x these DAOs are holding profit. I mean, the takeaway is clear. DAO purchases are a source of signal and alpha for investors. And alpha meaning getting info before most people making profitable trade. Now the question is, what else are these DAOs accumulating? That's the next thing. Okay. So we have different type of DAOs on the left. These are some of the top like 10 ones that have accumulated Curve. So using Curve as a reference point and just seeing all the DAOs that the top 10 DAOs that purchase Curve, like what else are they purchasing and what else do they have in common? Okay. So actually, let's go over a little bit of Convex Finance is a service provider, which is mainly from the Curve ecosystem. You have Stake DAO, you got Badger DAO, which has something to do with accumulating Bitcoins or earning interest on your Bitcoins, if I'm correct. FRAX Finance is stablecoin, similar to UST in the Terra Luna ecosystem. Olympus DAO, mainly known for its rebasing token. And Tribe DAO, I think that one was mainly known for, I think ICE protocol or something, I forgot, some protocol. And Alchemax Finance was known for self-repaying loans. And Redacted Cartel, relatively new on the scene since December or January, where they're mainly dealing with bribing of users for voting rights. Lobis, similar, if I'm correct. Congruent Finance, not too familiar. Okay. Convex, Badger, FRAX, and Central. Oh, that's Lobis, and Tribe. Head. Okay. Now, going over all those DAOs, let's do some asset breakdown of this. So reference point, the Curve, Convex and Curve. Okay. So cross those two out. So we'll focus on the next three, which is the most common. Out of all the DAOs, the top 4 with the most common assets is FRAX Finance, Angle Protocol, and Token. FRAX Finance is known for its stablecoin pairs. Is their stablecoin is an algorithmic stablecoin with some reserve, if I'm correct, similar to UST on Luna. What they have is they have their own native token, which is the FXS token, which is the FRAX share, mainly used for governance rights and to direct liquidity for specific FRAX pools in their ecosystem. And okay. And then next we have Angle, which is also a stablecoin, but not USD based usually. I think they're a European-based company, and they have a stable euro, which is called AGEUR. So their native token is called Angle. And the motivation for the DAOs to accumulate Angle, also similar to FRAX, to be able to direct liquidity to specific pairs of ERU stablecoin to whatever is paired. But this is, has not gained the same traction as FRAX because maybe it's just too new. And obviously, a euro is not so popular as the dollar. Most pairs are denominated USD. And but this is a protocol to keep an eye on and see why are these DAOs actually accumulating this. Next big one would be TOKEMAK. The motivation to accumulate Toke is being able to direct liquidity to any coin in a reactor. What a reactor is, think of it as it could be any one coin paired with another coin, X or Y coin, versus FRAX or Angle, where you actually have to have a pair for the FRAX token or the Angle EUR token as the pair with something else. But for TOKEMAK, it kind of sits a layer below or above, where you could kind of direct the liquidity to any type of pair. It doesn't have to be stable coins too. It could be Ethereum to some other coin, but it doesn't have to be a stable. And this is a little easier to see why DAOs might be accumulating this, to be able to redirect liquidity to their own token. For example, one of the reactors is the Shapeshift token, the FRAX token, where they want to direct X amount of millions of liquidity to the pool on Uniswap, to be able to let whales come in and out much easier while affecting the price and reducing volatility. And they mainly do not have a stable coin because they're more of a layer above. And some of the tools that I actually use with doing some of this research was the DAO Central, to look up a whole bunch of DAOs if you wanted to. And also similar tools were DAOHQ.co, OpenOrgs was, I would say, one of the most robust ones to actually see all the different DAOs that they're accumulating in Deep DAO. And just give you a quick view of how it looks. I mean, you see, like, let's say the DAO, Olympus DAO, what have they accumulated? They hold DAI, they hold Sushi, FRAX, Ethereum. So you get an insight of what they're purchasing. You can follow them too, which is what some people do. And because they are technically smart money. All right. And that's pretty much what we went over in the March meetup. It's usually 20 minutes, 30 minutes presentation. And we just have an open discussion afterwards. And it's a pretty lively event. For those that can make it for the next month, coming April, we'll be doing it usually end of the month. Topic is still up in the air right now. Most likely, usually not newbie friendly topics, but more on the leading edge of crypto topics we'll be covering. So this event went pretty well for March. So hopefully see you guys in April.